to get it on. You should always have a chick while you on your throne. Nobody cares, you better stay alive. But for now we up to bat, we yelling hit or die. Hit or die, 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 hit or die. That's two for me, one for the team, and we won't stop till we get the ring. Hit or die, 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 hit or die. That's two for me, one for the team, and we won't stop till we get the ring.
Hey, everybody. Welcome to HIT.OR.DIE podcast, episode 49. We're here with your host, Jake Saldati and Chad Rawford, and our guest today, Fresno High baseball coach, Jason Pappy. Jason, thanks for coming on the show with us.
Hey, thanks for having me, fellas.
Pappy. It's a sad day, man.
It is. I'm finding myself every single hour thinking about what I would be doing right now with this Easter tournament, all day yesterday. Obviously, as you guys are well aware, there's a lot of planning that goes into this thing. And, all day yesterday we were thinking about it. My dad called about 3 times. We were thinking about, well, right now we'd be here. We'd be doing this. We'd be getting the Pardini set up. Now the dinner would start. And this morning I woke up real early, and usually it's, off to Fresno High. That's where, our committee meets before we head to the sites. And, I was laughing. My wife and daughters, we all just went on a walk, second one of the day, by the way. And my wife goes, yeah, I'd be getting the kids ready right now. Wasn't your first game going to be at 1:00? And, that's just kind of where we're at. It's really sad. I feel for these kids and everything that's going on.
Yeah, and then, Friday they made it go official that, we're done for the year. And it's just kind of crazy to think those guys don't get another opportunity. But, talk a little bit about how much really goes into this. I know you put out a message on Facebook, but I don't think some people don't realize, this is like a full year of planning and then what it does for fundraising for you guys.
Yeah, this is a big deal, and it's a big deal in so many different ways. It's a big deal, obviously, for my family, for my dad. It means something to me to be able to take the reins of this thing and help my dad, carry on what he started a long time ago. And it's a year-round commitment for no pay. It's not something that, as a coach, I personally make money on or anybody else that does this thing. We do it for the kids. We do it for the Valley. We do it for baseball in this area. And just to make a product that is something that people can be proud of. And for 50 years, I feel that we've done a pretty good job of that. I hope that others feel the same. And, for us, this isn't something that you start a month ago planning and preparing. It's a year-round commitment. I've got hours upon hours of work still that I've kind of been putting off to, call every coach. I've sent out emails. Everybody knew about obviously the cancellation of the tournament, but now I got 36 teams that, have entry fee checks that were sent in. I'm going to have to mail back entry fee checks. I've got to call every sponsor out of good faith. We have sponsors that had sent program advertisements and things like that. I'm going to, call every sponsor and send them their check back, if that's what they want. And, it's something that's really sad. In 50 years, this thing has been rained out one time. So in 50 years, it's not taken place once. But even the year it was rained out, there was games still played. I think every team got 2 of their 4 games in. There was no championship that year. So this is unprecedented, this tournament not going on. And, for my family, it's, and as you guys both know, being close to the tournament, this is something that I think not just us in the teams in this area, but a lot of families look forward to. I got a random message on Twitter on our Fresno Easter Classic account from a mom today of an out-of-town team saying how she was going to miss this tournament and how much they enjoyed it. And, this was her son's senior year, and he was a 3-year varsity player. And usually they would be here. And, she just wanted to thank us for, the tournament and wish that they were here. And so, for me, it's really, really sad, with all that's going on in the world right now. This is a small part of that, but it's also a part that when you look at it's affecting, 750 to 1,000 players, coaches, families, friends. It brings people together. It's just good for baseball and baseball around the state of California and even into Oregon.
Yeah, it's a great tournament. And if there's one positive to this, which there's not, but when they decided to cancel the season to April 13th or whatever, it actually came just in time before you made payments for shirts. So if there's a plus to it, you didn't have to spend that extra money that you normally do.
Correct. Yeah, I was, and I'm not lying or exaggerating at all when I tell you this. I was one day away from losing $12,000 because, I've said it before, my dad, when he started this thing, and he was very big on just making this tournament first class. And we order 1,500 T-shirts. That bills, $6,000. We order all of our programs, 800 to 1,000 programs, all the tickets, the tournament passes, the daily passes, all those things. I had been meeting daily with Dumont Printing and, getting ready to start printing the programs and printing the T-shirts. And if we would have went to print on the T-shirts, the programs, the tickets, that's a $12,000 bill that obviously I couldn't recoup. And we talk every day at Fresno High about, doing little things as a team to make our program better. Well, we do the same thing with this Easter Classic as a committee. Every year we want to make it a little bit better than it was last year. And if you get hammered by a $12,000 bill or something like that you can't recoup, obviously it's real tough to make the tournament better moving forward. And we try to keep extra money in the account, because I don't think a lot of people realize just how much this tournament costs. When a dozen baseballs is, $70 a dozen, when the cost of things just keeps going up. The umpire bill, we've got 72 games over the course of 3 days. That umpire bill is astronomical, and those guys do a heck of a job. They're never late to games during this tournament. They work their tails off, but we're into this thing thousands of dollars to try to make some money at Fresno High. I think the perception for a lot of people is, oh, you guys must make an unbelievable amount of money. And that's not the case, because we spend an unbelievable amount of money. Sunday night, last night, we would all sat down together, 150 to 200 coaches, and had a free steak dinner at Pardini's, something that my dad loves to do, just fellowship and bringing coaches together and talking baseball. And it was going to be a great night. I was going to get to present one of my best friends, and obviously not present, but honor the late Sam Flores, one of my best friends. He was going to be getting the Golden Bat Award this year. And so, that to me really, really hurts. And like I said, man, this thing's going to keep going. We're going to be back at it, and we will honor him, and we will get this tournament up and moving again next year and better than ever.
Yeah, that's one of my favorite parts is the dinner and seeing all the guys and definitely, hearing Sammy give a little story about his team and maybe a couple jabs at you and
right.
Also James Patrick and that's one of the best parts. I think a lot of coaches would probably echo the same thing. I know Chad, we always had fun. We went with the Coyote staff, and I've gone with Wes before. It's always been a good time.
Yeah. And that's what, I've gotten calls and texts from coaches, reiterating exactly what you guys have just said. Hey, we're missing it. Because we might be competitive as hell on the field, man. But I think the baseball coaching fraternity in this valley is pretty tight, and we understand baseball around here, and that's not to sound arrogant, but I really do think that the coaches in this valley do one heck of a job of putting great products on the field and preparing these kids to play baseball, but not only to play baseball, to be better men in life. And I think, those type of things like that coach's dinner is just a direct reflection of, how close this community is and how much everybody truly cares about each other.
Yeah, it's going to be tough. This whole week too, you're like you're saying, you're going to go day by day. Like, what am I going to be doing today? Or what am I, it's just, it's hard to think that it's really over. And I know you just posted a picture, I think today or yesterday, you had to let it sit in a little bit. It's just tough for everybody, and especially those seniors and all the time and effort they've put in for the last 4 years.
No, you're exactly right, Chad. And what makes it even worse, I think, is when you finish your season, whether that be on a high note or a low note. And I say a low note, 6 teams get to celebrate and dogpile at the end of every year in this valley. There's 6 divisions. And so, I remember last year and the year before losing to Sanger last year and Memorial the year before in the semifinal. And that feeling that you have when you look at your team out in the outfield as they're on a knee and you huddle for one last time. You get to talk to those guys, and then you usually have a team meeting and you collect your uniforms and you have your rewards and you do all those things. This year you didn't get any of that, man. This 2020 season and everything that encompasses it and all the work that was put in, not just at Fresno High and with my team, but all over this valley. It feels like you didn't get to say goodbye to these guys and thank them, because you guys know you put work in just like I do at your respective programs. We've been going at this for a while and trying to make these kids better in the classroom, study halls every day, working with guys on the side, talking to them, being mentors. And, I remember the day that they cut us, that Friday, they said, hey, you guys aren't coming back to school at Fresno Unified. We were supposed to practice that day. We were going to be going to Christopher High School in Gilroy to play a game on the Saturday. And, obviously you didn't expect the magnitude of what has taken place. I told my guys, hey, I'll be in contact. I told my guys, go enjoy your weekend. You got today off. You got this weekend off. They're not allowing us to play, but we will be back, and then I don't think anybody expected what we have now. And, it's just really sad because, like I said, we haven't been able to properly thank our guys. And I got a kid that, texted me today that got into a very prestigious college academically. And that made me feel good, man. It really did, because those type of things are what I do this for. You love to win. You love to win championships. We're all trying to get the same thing on the field, but you also, you invest in these kids and you establish relationships with them. And truly that's what it's all about. So, that's where I'm at with this thing. It's really sad. And, like I keep telling my daughter's 7, my oldest, and she's heartbroken because she's missing her first. She's in it's called Mini One Out. She dances at, Pete Delaney's wife's dance studio, which is an amazing dance studio. My daughters love dance, and she was on the Mini One Out competition team, and she was going to actually be able to go to her first out-of-town competition that has been canceled. And, to see her crying at 7 years old looking at me because, that for her is something that she's been working towards. And she was just excited to go, compete with her little friends. And it's sad from top to bottom in so many different ways. And I just hope that, we can get through this thing together and get back to some normalcy soon.
Yeah, I feel you, man. We were in the same boat. I think we finally got all our basketball guys back, and, we played well against Merced, and then we go on the road to Arroyo and played really well there, pitched really well, hit really well. And we were getting ready to start league and thinking, man, this team's got some potential once they finally come together. And we were starting to turn that corner, and they were excited, man. I could see how deflated they were when that school ended, right? And we were thinking, all right, 2 weeks, April 13th or whatever, we're coming back. Correct. Let's just ride it out and we'll be ready to go. And even that was deflating. And now to have it canceled, and I haven't been able to see them, you know what I mean? We haven't been able to soak it in together. It's rough, man.
Right. And I don't know where you guys are in terms of, your school districts, but at Fresno Unified, for example, they've backed us out till June 12th, not June 1st, not June 3rd, the last day of school, June 12th. So for me, there's no summer baseball until after June 12th. Well, I'm that guy that, I don't charge my guys to play summer ball. We get about 20 games in the month of June usually. And I finish my summer by taking my whole team to the coast for that Firecracker Classic. And that's usually July 1st to the 3rd. And that's where we end it. And the rest of July, the rest of August, I told them to go, hang out with their families, go be kids, go have a summer vacation, go play on other teams or attend summer camps or play other sports, do other things. And now I look at it and go, man, I don't know if there will be a summer ball. And it's really sad for these kids that, they rely on this for a lot of different reasons. Some rely on it because for them, that's their sense of family. getting out there with their teammates and their coaches, and they want to be there. And so I hope we can get this thing under control and get back to just normal life again, and what's really positive for kids and getting kids active and involved.
Yeah, I haven't had to deal with the being at home like you guys have had to. I know even through the weekend, it's tough for my kids to not want to go outside, and we've got parks all over the place. We can't go to the parks. So yeah, I couldn't imagine the last 3 weeks being stuck. I couldn't do it.
And yeah, that's you guys are like me. You like to be outside. You like to be active. When we were kids, there probably wasn't many hours where we were inside the house, and it's been funny. I love my family to death, and they understand what I do and how many hours it takes me away from home. I've never mowed this grass that I'm looking at in the backyard more and fertilized the damn thing. And my wife had me refurbish a playhouse. She just informed me on our 16th walk of the day that I'm cleaning out the closet today. So, there's been a hell of a lot of job responsibilities that I've had to take over here. Yeah. But I've enjoyed it. It's obviously given me an opportunity to get some stuff done that, would have had to have been pushed out until the summer, but nothing replaces what we were doing and being with our student athletes and competing on the field and, trying to make those guys men and just preparing them for life.
And I would say too, after talking with Chad about it, don't take this time for granted either, with your families. You know what I mean? This doesn't happen often where everybody's home all the time and with each other, and whether it's making a project or watching a movie or, my wife yesterday did a little theater in our playroom and we watched a movie with the kids and, it was fun, man. And
exactly.
As much as we miss baseball, I think we need to put it all in perspective and be grateful for what we have every day.
I got to throw batting practice, not yesterday, but Saturday. CJ just wanted to hit, and he just kept. I probably threw about 100+ pitches to him, and I'll take that. I'll take that every day of the week.
100%, and that's where I'm at. You got to find positives out of what's going on. The other day, it was funny, man. I hadn't even, I'm used to being at that field every day, and so the other day, I told my wife, I said, "Hey, I'm just going to drive out there," and I literally sat in the dugout for about an hour and just kind of looked at the field, got on my phone a little bit, walked around the field a couple times, just this dead time and bringing families together and understanding that, there is things outside of these sports that are extremely important. And I'll be honest, for me, it's usually, and you guys are the same way with families. We walk in the door at 6:30 at night from practice. Our kids are going to bed at 7:30, 8 o'clock. We're seeing them for an hour and a half a day because, I'm out the door at, 6:30 in the morning. And it's pretty cool to be able to see my daughters in the morning when they wake up and take them or go pick up donuts for them the other day and things like that. One thing that the Pappies are really going to struggle with, and I know you guys give me a hard time about it, is I got to talk to Mickey Mouse, man. We got to get that place back open sooner than later, because usually on Thursday afternoon of this week or Thursday morning of this week, I was jumping in the truck and we're headed to Disneyland. And by Thursday afternoon, man, I'm on the frickin' Big Thunder Mountain or something. And now I don't know what we're going to do. So, but yeah, no, I agree with both of you. It's really cool to be able to spend this quality time with our families and do things we don't usually get to do.
You keep in pretty close contact with your coaches and staff, guys like Pedroso?
I do. Actually, Pedroso got in the trailer and they've been in Pismo the last couple of days. He should be coming home today.
I invited him on.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, he said he'd be driving. So
I gave him a heads up, but
I didn't want him to be mad at us.
Correct. You know how that goes.
Yeah, that's a month-long battle.
What's he doing out of the house?
Right. I wish we were truly live so we could, we could kind of get him on. His wife could hold the cell phone and we could watch him drive home. The other night, Saturday night, we actually talked. My wife had to send me outside at 11:30 at night because I was playing MLB The Show, and talking to him via FaceTime as he was walking around his campground. So yeah, no, I talk to my coaches every day. We're actually gonna have a coaching staff Zoom call. Everybody's gonna get their choice of beverage, and we're gonna have a Zoom call here in the next day or two, and just talk shop a little bit, just to get everybody together and things that you take for granted when you're showing up at the field every day that obviously is not happening now.
Oh, that must be nice. I haven't even heard from our coaching staff since the Friday, the March 4th.
Oh man,
HIT.OR.DIE.
Jake, how about you?
Yeah, I talked to Andy a little bit. We got a caller on the line?
Oh, geez.
Call from the clubhouse.
Oh man, there he is.
Are you driving home?
We are. We're in San Luis Obispo about to get a Starbucks coffee.
You should be in your house. You shouldn't be out and about.
Cheers, buddy.
Social distancing at its finest.
I didn't want you to be mad at us.
Correct.
Oh yeah, whatever. I told you I would be driving.
Well, so I called you. I was a good friend, and I called you.
No, I appreciate it.
Droz, did I give you fair warning on Saturday night that we were going to be calling you on Monday?
Yeah, you did.
He's been preparing for this. He's probably got a sheet of paper in front of him as he's driving. He's going to be reading some good stuff to us.
Oh,
Yeah,
Kirsty's driving.
We're trying to find a Starbucks right now.
Oh,
Well, there's one when you get to Paso, right before you get to 46.
hey,
I believe so.
no, you guys, we were talking about the Easter Classic, Droz, and missing the guys in this so far the spring and this being canceled now. And yeah, man, we miss you too. How was your trip in Pismo?
It rained, but it was nice. First time getting to have a spring break somewhat. But I think it's kind of a blessing in disguise with all the rain that we got, right?
Yeah, we wouldn't have been able to play today, honestly. Andy texted this morning. We had to call Pappy and tell him the Mel Parker's rained out today.
Hey, Saldati, we would have gotten that field ready. I don't care if it took 499 bags of Diamond Dry.
Was it 2 years ago, you guys at Buchanan?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
That was last year.
Was it last year?
Oh, yeah. That was last year.
I remember that.
I mean, there's been nights over the years where I remember, man, it's got to be about 10 years ago now or over, and this is no joke. 2, 3 in the morning out at Fresno City College. You guys know, and Chad, I know you know how bad that field used to drain, and if you got rain, it was just an absolute swamp out there. 2 in the morning, we're out there, big group of guys in our boots, just slanging mud, trying to get it ready for Monday. So it's been done before. You know what would have happened, fellas, to be 100% honest with you, I mean, my dad talked about this yesterday, is we would have probably pushed back Monday's schedule to Tuesday because everything that we always send out, we say Thursday's a rain date if necessary. So this tournament would have been, the 7th, 8th, and 9th of April. We would have banged today. We would have given it some time to hopefully dry out. Hopefully this rain gets through and gets out of here. And then we would have played this thing Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Would have definitely pushed back my trip to the happiest place on earth and would have shortened it by a day because the Pappies are not spending Easter at Disneyland. We're going to be back in town. But we would have gotten this thing in. Andy already texted me or talked to me this morning and said, yeah, man, it would have cost you a hell of a lot of money in Diamond Dry. And I said, yeah, I know. Still.
Good old Woodrow. Hey, Droz.
Yeah.
Are you missing basketball?
Am I missing?
And nobody cares. He gone. I got to hang up on him. That's how we do. He's going to be so mad now.
He's calling back. I guarantee it.
I'm not going to answer it.
Right.
Let's get Jimenez on here.
I'm going to get the mic on with us.
Hey, real quick, Chad, are we gonna get a coaches MLB the Show online deal going soon? Something to keep our minds in the baseball room.
I'm not an online gamer.
Either am I. I've never done it before, but I know we can find a way.
It's we can play a game. I'll for sure play.
Saldati's got to know. He probably does that. What is that, e-racing iRacing, G-Racing, whatever that thing is.
Why you guys hate
It was actually on we talked about it on the podcast we released today.
Oh, nice.
We talked about his NASCAR. He's got a NASCAR game. So
Awesome.
we can figure something out.
I love listening to your podcast, man. I really do. You guys, what you're doing is unbelievable. I just want you to know that. Even though I get, just hammered some of these times by my good buddies that come on, talking about leg shaving, and
the
dyeing my hair.
It was tanning too, right?
Tanning.
Tanning. That's what it was. Yeah.
Thanks.
Have you been following the Jeff Fry Twitter war?
Oh, God, dude, it cracks.
Today's so that's episode what was that 48, Chad?
Yeah,
that's out today. Dude, that guy was super cool, but some of the stuff for today he's seeing with the fish net. Do you see that one?
No, I haven't.
Oh my God, it's good stuff, man.
Wow, I'll have to check it out. I did see. What did he just did one where he was hanging upside down, right? With a
yeah. He's getting that. He's maximizing his launch angle.
Correct.
Oh, man. No, that's good. He was fun. He was like, it was one of those ones because we don't know him, so it's kind of like a little nerve-wracking. Like, what are we gonna get into? But he was great, man. We had a good time with him, and just to talk like the old school baseball, was nice. So.
And you guys reaching out to guys like that, man, that is really cool. And you know what? And I'm not, you guys know, when I say it, I mean it. And for you guys to reach out to people that you have and gotten the unbelievable guests that you've gotten, I feel honored to be on the show. And, it shows a lot about what your podcast has become, man, because, those guys that don't know you from anybody, at first, why would he come on? He knows you're putting a good product out there, and that's pretty cool. And so, when you guys told me about this before you started it, and Chad, I was encouraging you. I said, hey, man, do it. This is going to be great. I never imagined that this quickly it would get to where it has. So keep doing it, man. You are something that, can get us through the times that we're in right now, because when you can't get on the field and play, you can listen to the game and do, this type of stuff. And so I just thank you guys for what you're putting out there.
We appreciate it.
Yeah, no, I do, man. I remember seeing you at Applebee's at your fundraiser. Right. I went to support the Warriors, and we were talking about it. And do you have any, like, in particular, like a favorite one? And I know Droz would probably say yours, but
no, he wouldn't. He wouldn't.
Drozo would definitely say that. He has said that.
Thank you, Saldati. I agree with you. He would. But hey, and he should. By the way, he should. Hey, where am I in the rankings? Are we still keeping tabs?
I mean,
oh God,
I could tell you if you want to really know. I can go.
You're up there. You're up there.
You are up there,
and you're on the show again.
Right. Thank you.
You're one of our faves. We like having you on.
Our fave.
I appreciate that.
I sent Coach Jimenez an email, Chad. I don't know if you want to check on him. Okay,
Chad. There is something that I want to get your guys' opinion on. I got ferocious dogs, by the way. Can you hear them?
They're good.
They sound like Chihuahuas.
They are now. So I want to get your opinion. What do you guys think about this? What Florida did in terms of high school kids.
That's what we're going to get into when.
Oh, good. Yeah,
we're getting into that when Jimenez gets on. I think it's stupid, by the way.
I agree. So
we can start talking about it. I mean, I agree. I text. We have a group chat with our players, so I sent some of our guys, just some love and some encouragement, and all of them are saying like, "Oh, I'm just gonna have to come back for a fifth-year senior," and most of them were obviously joking.
Like they say that because they miss baseball, but when they're like, "Oh, I got to go to class again and like school," and they're not gonna want to come back.
Right.
You can't just come back and be like in college where you're a grad school and you can only take like 10 units or whatever. You can't do that when you stay back in high school.
Right.
They're not going to give you 10 elective classes.
The one thing that it is going to do, and I know we'll get into this, can you imagine the rosters at the college level? You've got, senior kids that are incoming. You got college kids that are staying back. the influx of players that's going to be just, at one spot. You take Fresno City for an example. You got, how many kids do they get in there every year? And then, every JC kid gets their year back. So, a freshman this year is a freshman again next year. A sophomore this year is a sophomore again next year, correct? If they want that.
Well, it didn't go to the junior colleges. It just went to the 4-year schools where only the seniors can stay back a year.
Oh, okay.
So everybody else pretty much lost a year of eligibility.
Even at the JC level, really?
I thought.
Well, how are you going to do that? How are you going to keep a guy back? That makes no sense.
What I've been told, and don't quote me, we'll have to look into it. But I've been told that the JC guys are getting their year back if they want it, and so it's like a free red shirt. And you guys remember, Chad, you remember at City how many guys we would have when we showed up that would redshirt. I was a 2 guy and transferred to Fresno State. You were a 2-year guy, transferred to Oral Roberts. But there is guys that are spending 3 years at the JC level. And so basically what it does is if a kid is offered that, I feel that it would make 0 sense for him not to take it, regardless if they were planning on leaving after next year anyway. If I'm a freshman this year and I got 20 games in, why be a sophomore next year? I'll be a freshman next year. I'm still going to be the same spot with my AA. I'm going to finish my AA degree. And then I have 3 years to play, including a redshirt year, 4 years at a 4-year school, because this is a free year for those guys. And so why would you not say, hey, I want another year. I'm going to be a freshman next year. I'm going to be a sophomore if that's offered to you, so that you have another year at the 4-year, wherever you go, because it's a free year, I think. And that's what's been told of me or to me. I don't know 100% if that's true, but it's going to be really interesting, because if that happens, you're going to have a hell of a lot of guys that are going to be stuck at spots like that where, they would have been playing. And now, it's going to be like that everywhere.
Well, if that's true, I agree with you. Who wouldn't want to stay back and get that year back? Because that would help you moving
forward.
But
we also talked about depending on how many seniors at the division or at the 4-year schools, how many seniors stay back and the draft and all that. You might have those guys that are going D1 now say, well, I don't want to go there if I'm not going to get a chance to play right away. I might go back to a junior college now. So now you're getting hit with all the JUCO guys staying back a year, and you're getting these incoming seniors that probably would go to a 4-year but now want to go to a JUCO route. I mean, it's going to bring a whole lot of, controversy everywhere. And then as a coach, you just had a guy that started as a freshman. Now he's gonna be a freshman again, but now I got a D1 kickback. What am I? I mean, I'm probably gonna play the D1 kickback if he was better, So there's a lot that can. And then
knowing as a junior college coach, knowing that hey, that freshman that would have been a sophomore that's now a freshman again, he's a 2nd-year freshman with a free redshirt year, knowing that kid probably is going to be looking to leave after that year, that he's not going to want to spend that 3rd year. He's been a starter for 2 years. He's just getting that year to benefit him at obviously the 4-year school, because who wouldn't want that extra year there, to redshirt or to do whatever. That's huge for these kids, but it's also going to make it extremely hard for this class of 2020 grads moving into the college ranks. Even guys that have scholarships right now, you're going to show up at a spot where they would have been losing 13 seniors, and now let's say 7 of those 13 come back. Man, that's crazy. And they're going to, obviously I think the roster restrictions are going to be loosened a little bit and things like that, but it still doesn't limit the competitiveness and the players that you're now competing against that would have been gone. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens all over the place. And, I really feel for this group of guys that, are losing out on these senior years, that they were planning on doing whatever next year, going to grad school, moving on with their lives, these college seniors, and these high school seniors, same thing. There's decisions now that are made that some guys, wanted to have a good year and decide whether or not they were going to go on and play next year. And, now they got, I don't know how many games you guys got in at C-Dub and at Madera, but, I think we got 10 or 11 games in. I think we were 11 games, and these guys still missed out on a heck of a lot of games in competition. So it's going to be really interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think you're going to see guys get cut. That's what's going to happen. You're going to have and I don't know, I still haven't checked it out, Chad. We talked about it Friday. The D1 guys still have to maintain 35 with seniors coming back. So
I thought we talked about it. It's 35, and then with
either way, they got to have 35, and then whatever seniors come back.
Yeah. So if 7 came back, like he's talking about, they'd have a
42 kids. Right.
Correct. Yeah.
So,
I mean,
that's a lot.
The other thing that Chad and I were talking about, if you hadn't heard the episode from today, was that what about guys like Cooper and guys like Aon and other guys that are maybe. I mean, if I was like telling Chad, I was a JC coach, I might be reaching out, to make sure they know where Oregon stands with this situation, where Arizona stands with this situation.
Right. Yeah, because those teams had a Friday, Saturday, Sunday guy, and you don't know if they're seniors, juniors coming back. The draft might not even happen, so they might not go. They might come back anyways. So now you got Aon and Cooper.
How does it affect their scholarships?
Yeah.
Right.
Because what are they going to do for these seniors? They're going to take care of these seniors that are coming back over a freshman coming in. How does that work?
And you add those, like Chad made a good point in terms of the draft, add that in to the equation, or if they go 5 rounds or even 10 rounds, if they decide to do that, how many, 30th round guys would leave? There was guys that would sign in the 30th round. There's guys, you would lose some guys because they were just ready to move on and wanted to go play pro ball and get that opportunity. And so, that was another influx of players that will be there that would have been gone because, obviously we're shortening this draft drastically. And so it's going to be really interesting to see, kind of how next year plays out. And the other thing is, I think it benefits, those power schools a lot because I don't know what they're going to do with the scholarships. I haven't looked into it enough, but I think they're requiring the school. They still get their 11.7.
And then I think school has to pay for it.
School has to pay for the other ones. Well, what schools are going to be able to pay for those other ones?
But nobody's talking about, and again, it's spring sports, but like, what about the winter guys, the basketball guys for the NC2A who didn't finish their conference tournaments, didn't get March Madness? They're not getting – nobody's working with them to come back. They're done.
They're done.
It's over. Like, that's even worse than what baseball's having to deal with.
You know what, though? I don't – and you could be mad at me all you want. I don't really care about basketball because they can one and done.
Right.
You know what I mean? So I'm sorry, all the NBA players aren't staying there past 1 year. So
no, that's a good point. And some of those guys, if they want to come back, they'll have that opportunity to come back.
So the seniors that are in college basketball are
that's what I'm talking about. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. That sucks for those guys.
Right.
Oh, well, I mean, you should have been a one-and-done guy.
Obviously, if they're seniors, maybe they weren't that good. I don't know.
I know. That's what I'm saying. Is like either way.
But you can't want it for one and not the other. I mean, I don't know. Just because.
Well, no. Okay. Well, then let's have college baseball be one and done. Let's have college football be one. I mean, there shouldn't be different rules for sports in college sports. If you're going to go for 3 years, you should go for 3 years. Period. No matter what the sport. Then bring basketball back to high school draft too. Then you can get drafted out of high school or go for 3 years. It should be the same.
I mean, I don't disagree with that. I'm just saying, like, if a high school basketball player, a senior, should have the same opportunity as a baseball senior.
Yeah, but they played their full season, except for the conference tournament. You know how many SEC teams weren't going to the conference tournament?
So they played their full regular season. So, like,
yeah, they played their full regular season. They didn't make it to the postseason.
Yeah, but I mean, so you had some first-timers making it to the postseason.
I mean, the thing is, like Pappy said, the school is going to have to come up with these scholarships for these seniors that want to kick back. Now you throw in – so that's all the spring sports. Now you throw in some other sports. Where's this money going to come from? How are you going to pick what sport's more important to have the seniors come back and give them their scholarship? Because guess what? It's probably a lot easier to give baseball scholarships because they're only 25%, 30%, 40%. If you bring back senior basketball players, they're on 100% scholarship. Most of the other sports in colleges, they're on full rides. That's a lot more money to come up with to bring back more seniors.
Yeah, I don't know, but what's the cost to run those programs too? You know, how much does it cost to run a basketball program versus, you know, the revenue they're making?
I don't know.
Right, because they're getting more people in the seats with less players. Baseball's getting, in some spots, less people in the seats with more players. So financially, it may be easier for a basketball team to fund their program.
Yeah, but in reality, like Chad said, all of those guys in basketball, football, those are full scholarships. You can't break them up. And so, sure, it is less players, but technically, you know, it's more money. And the biggest thing you look at is, you know, the recruiting budgets and those type of things that are going to get affected. And like I was saying earlier, I think that everything that's going on, man, it really benefits those bigger schools that have money from outside sources are going to come in and say, hey, bring this kid back. Let's get it done. And, you know, it's going to be interesting to see what kind of plays out, what transpires from everything that's taken place, because it's unprecedented. It's never happened. And so, you know, right now you just kind of look at it and go, wow, there's so many pages that have yet to been turned. And, you know, like we talk about the JC thing with these JC baseball players, you know, what are they decided, or what was the decision? Is it just sophomores? Is it freshmen and sophomores that get their years back? You know, that's going to have huge implications on a lot of different players and the rest of their playing careers. Because in all reality, man, a lot of these JC kids, they play at a JC and they don't play again. That's it. You know, if they're not good enough to go on, that was their 2 years, and that was it. And if they're getting kind of forced out, same thing with, you know, these 4-year guys. If there's 4-year schools that are being allowed to kick back seniors, now these JC kids that were getting an opportunity to go play because they needed players, now they might not need guys, and so that JC guy now has nowhere to go. And so it's going to be really interesting. It is sad that you know, this has happened, and it's where we're at right now.
So let's jump back to high school. I mean, if Florida is putting this into effect, I just don't understand how that's going to help you as a senior. Because in baseball, age matters. Like, the younger you are, I mean, you're almost better off going to a JUCO and trying to get seen than go back for your year, unless you're going to be a draft guy. I don't know. I still feel like you can go somewhere and be seen. Yeah,
logistically, I don't know how they can do that. It's sad,
Coach.
You know, I feel for these guys, but I don't know. I don't know how they can do it. I really don't.
Coach Jimenez, you hear us?
I can hear you guys. How you doing?
Good.
How are
What's up, buddy?
Hey, not too bad. Not too bad.
Dinuba, are you the pitching coach?
I'm the coach. Dave Gaston calls himself the pitching consultant, and I'm step below him, called the pitching advisor. How we roll.
And how you guys?
Yeah, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I was just going to tell him where we were at.
Yeah, no, we were just talking about how Florida's mentioning high school seniors being able to return for 2021, and with what's going on at the NC2A level and JUCO level, I mean, I don't think it makes – we're kind of in agreement. It doesn't make much sense for them to come back for another year.
You know, after listening to Coach Batesell's interview the other day with Paul Loeffler, he brought up some great points with extending this into the college ranks as well. But it comes down to who's going to pay for that extra year for everybody, who's going to pay for that extra meal, the extra plane ticket, the bus rides, all that. It's going to be a ripple effect if we allow this to happen. It'd be great. You know, I want my seniors to play another year, but we're just going to set up this speed bump in our youth programs and college programs that's just going to hurt us. And I'm for it, but then I'm against it. It's a toss-up. I know if this is me and it was my senior year, I'd be having a really hard time.
I think it depends on, you know, what type of senior it is as well. Like, do you have a place to go? For those guys that are on the bubble that don't know where they're going, I could see it being a toss-up. But then also they're just thinking about the baseball side or the sports side. Well,
Yeah.
guess what? You're going to have to go to school all over again, so that kind of could factor in as well.
And,
Yeah, I mean-
and then, it's what about kids that, age comes into play, and that could be scary because if this, we look at the baseball realm because that's what we do, and these kids got shortchanged on their season, which is horrible. It's so sad. I feel for every single one of them. But if they decide to come back next year, what if they were, which we all wish more kids did, what if they were a two-sport kid and they played football their senior year this year? They got their whole season in. Well, next year they redo their senior year. Do they get to play football again? And now they've turned, the CIF has a rule that you can't turn 19 going into your senior year. I think now it's June 15th. It used to be June 1st. Now you got, 19-year-old kids playing high school football against, kids that might be 14 or 15. That's the other thing. What would they do? They say, oh, you can only play your spring sport. You can't play any sport in the fall, any sport in the winter because you already played those as a senior. There was so many underlying things that I think they would have to look at that logistically I just don't see it happening. I'm with you. I would love to have my seniors back. I feel like those poor kids got shortchanged so bad. I just don't know how logistically in the time frame that we're going to be given this could happen.
Yeah, it's we've already had one kid come to Coach Morelli, our head coach here in Dinuba, and say, hey, if there is a way, I want to do it. My parents are ready to sign me up. But like you said, he was a football player too. So how's that going to work?
Right.
And the aspects of, hey, I get to play football again all of a sudden, but I played my senior year already. It just doesn't make sense.
Yeah, as hard as it is, it's one of those things where you just kind of have to just deal with it. You have to accept the circumstances for what they are. And like in life, because things happen that obviously aren't fair, and you just got to move on with it. It sucks, no question about it. But also, to me, it reminds me of like this everybody gets a trophy thing. Like we're trying to make sure everybody gets, and that's just not how the real world works. Maybe this could be a good thing. Maybe some kids could learn from this or benefit from. I don't know. I could be way off too.
I agree with that. I think work ethic is going to come into a play where what kids on our programs really want to play at the next level because they're going to be doing something right now. Like Pappy, you put a guy made a thing where you could throw into for his bullpens or, it's stuff like that or that these kids are going to do to get themselves better and keep them prepared. Or you're going to get the kids, and we all know who they are on our teams, that they're just sitting at home playing video games or they're going out with their buddy. They're doing stuff they're not supposed to, so that's where it's going to either show next year or whenever we can start playing again who actually wanted it and go play at the next level.
Yeah, I agree. I don't know where are you guys at in terms of I know where Clovis Unified is because obviously my daughters, that's where they're at and they're going to revisit here in a few weeks. Has Dinuba, have they canceled the full academic year? Are they done?
We have not fully canceled yet. They're going a week by week kind of process. When we get back from spring break, we're actually handing out our second term of homework packets. So
Cool. Right.
We're in that process of the limbo area of, hey, you know what? We're waiting for that extra word, waiting for the say so of yes or no.
Right.
I saw Sanger's done. They're done for the year academically. So,
Right. And so are we. Fresno, Sanger, I think Central is too. What has Madera done? Jake?
We're done.
You guys are done too.
I think Clovis is the only one in the city that is waiting it out too.
Mm-hmm. Have you guys thought about this? And it hasn't been brought up yet. I haven't talked to Merv about it, but something else that was just kind of running through my mind as we were all athletes and baseball players, and you guys can all look back on that day or that game and remember how special it was. Something like a city county all-star game. Is it done? Just not going to happen. I feel for those kids that throughout the valley. There's the one in Visalia, whatever it's called. I think the Exeter has one too, correct?
Yes.
I just so sad that those kids aren't getting that game because that game was something that I know me as a player. That was the only time my dad ever coached me, ever, my whole life. Never. He was not that travel ball dad. He did not coach me. He did not want to coach me. He coached me from home. We would go out on the weekends, and, I had to grow up a lot when I would start listening to him, because you always thought that your dad was arguing with you or, putting you down. But what about, that game and those poor kids that aren't getting, something like that? Because, we're done through June 12th. I can't remember what that game date was, but I want to say it was
it was normally the end of June, right?
June, yeah.
Or second week of July or something.
This year, because remember, all the kids, they haven't graduated yet. So I want to say this year it was, and I just seen the flyer. I want to say it was one of the last weekends or Sunday in May. Because it's usually before their graduations. Because the thing as a coach, we would always fight is setting practices up with, we got graduation, we've got, practice, we've got graduation practice or those type of things. But, all this stuff is just so uncharted and nobody knows kind of what's happening and what's going on. It's really sad.
One thing that goes back to it is the loss of Legion Ball. If we had Legion Ball somehow, some way, this could keep us being able to play throughout the summer, and this isn't taken away. So I wouldn't be surprised if something like that pops up all of a sudden either.
Right. No, I agree. And like I was telling these guys before you came on, they've already canceled Fresno Unified. We're done through June 12th. So we can't do anything through June 12th. The last day of our school year was going to be June 3rd. And so, I couldn't start anything summer-wise until after June 12th anyway. And so we're going to move together because I'm getting rained on now. And so I don't know. It's going to be really interesting to see, kind of what happens and where we go from here. But it's just, uncharted, unprecedented, and really sad to see what's kind of happening.
Yeah,
well, everybody's been pretty positive. We got to try to stay positive, especially for the guys, the kids that are even not going to be able to graduate or have a ceremony or something like that. So
100%.
I think, Mike, you were practicing some of your fungo drills out in the backyard. We might have to start coaches. How the kids are doing, they throw the ball and then you have a coach continue it. We need to do like a coach's fungo thing where a coach hits a fungo and then we just continue a video of all the coaches in our area hitting a fungo.
That would be awesome.
It'd be pretty cool to get going. So
that would be awesome.
Maybe we'll put you in charge of that. We'll put you in charge of that.
I'll try to start that.
We definitely need to do that. That would be really cool. I think our players and our seniors would get a kick out of it. And, I don't know if there's a mass email that can go out and, invite guys to do it. Everybody submit their film to whoever. And then if somebody's good on the computer. Correct.
Guys
Jake's pretty good on computer.
We'll send it to Jake.
I could do it too.
Chad's the man.
Coach Jimenez, sorry we got you on here a little late.
It's all right.
Again, we do love your support, man. This guy has been huge with the show, as is Pappy, and honestly everybody. So we just wanted to get you on and try and get your opinion on some stuff. We'll have to do this again. We're trying to get Coach Shane Marshall with CVC on and Coach Coleman at Kerman. So there's some guys that we're going to try to get on here in the next few weeks. Obviously, this is the format for a while now, but
hey,
this is usually my favorite part of the year, man. This week,
right? Yeah, and then we have a company. I want to tell you guys this. I was going to text it to you, and I can do it now. Briner and Sons Landscape has been doing our field, and they're unbelievable, man. What those guys do is pretty impressive, and they love your show.
I've been in contact with them.
Yeah, they want to
sponsor a show.
Yes, 100%, man. And so it's pretty cool. The other day, I met him out in our field briefly, and Brian Hammer was saying that, just how much he appreciates what you guys are doing. And so you got a fan in those guys. And if anybody's looking to get their field redone in any way, they're really good at what they do. So reach out to those guys, Briner and Sons Landscape. They got the best sport division around, in my opinion.
I second that. We get to play on a lot of those fields that they take care of down here in the South Valley, and it's amazing. I know growing up, I was a Fresno Easter Classic guy of my whole life, and then coming over to Danuba, it's all been Fowler Easter Classic, but going to play on that field is amazing. So I second that opinion.
Thank you.
Yeah, we'll have to keep reaching out to those guys.
I need to get back. I was supposed to meet him at Fresno High like a month or two ago, and then all this happened. So I'll reach out to him again. I just didn't know if he wanted to, still do something since we're doing stuff like this. But I mean, we just had an ex big leaguer on. So I mean, we're still getting great guests. It's not, that's all we do here on the Hit.OR.DIE podcast.
And we're working on some stuff. 50's coming up next. So that's when we're talking about doing. We're trying to get another one with some of the 08 Fresno State Bulldogs.
Nice.
And we want to get Paul Loeffler, some other guys like that on. So there's some more coming up, and the list is long. You guys know the history around here. So
keep doing it, fellas. Keep doing it because you're doing amazing things. And I'm telling you, what you're doing is been needed in this valley for a long time. There's a lot of knowledge in this valley, and the more we can share this, the better. So thank you again.
No, we appreciate that for sure. If you haven't,
both you guys are great supporters.
Absolutely.
Anything to keep it going.
Yes, sir.
Episode 48 with Jeff Fry came out today. If you haven't checked it out, go check it out. And we're trying to get more traffic to the YouTube channel. So if you haven't subscribed, go subscribe. That's episode 49 of the Hit.OR.DIE podcast.
Hit or die.
Hit or die.